Welcome to the Ingress Insights podcast, hosted by PkmnTrainerJ. Ingress Insights is a podcast about the Niantic game Ingress. Listen each week for the latest news, updates and rumours. Let us know your thoughts by leaving a voice message or emailing us at the links in the show notes.
Additional intel available.
Hello, agents, and welcome to a slightly delayed episode 98 of the Ingress Insights podcast. In this week's episode, we're going over the Plus Theta news, because we've still got some skirmishes that have happened and some that are coming up, as well as some updates for Ingress, the Scopely Spatial split, and we have portal submissions back, so I want to talk about that as well. Before I get into all of that, I just want to talk about my progress before we go, and for my AP, I've been progressing along quite nicely along level 14. So I've now got 4,457,521 AP, where I need 7 million to get to level 15. Obviously, I've got all the badges. This is my second recursion. I have been getting the Plus Theta token, so I'm now on gold for my Plus Theta medal. I've got 6,390 points, so you need 6,000 for gold. I don't particularly need to get any more, but I keep doing the daily tasks anyway just to do them, and I get tokens from that. Do feel free to share your progress in the comments if you're on Spotify or YouTube, where you can share that, or you can email them in and let me know how you're getting on. All that being said, I'm going to get into the Plus Theta news now.
What's up? This is Smooth Guy O, and you listen to the Ingress Insight podcast.
The global campaign for Plus Theta has been over for a little while now. That ended on the 11th of May 2025 at 11:59 p.m. local time. However, if you are still behind in your tokens, they're not quite on the level you want yet, you can still get those from the daily tasks. You can get a total of 60 every day. So you get 10 per the 4 tasks, and then 20 additional 10 for doing 2 tasks, 10 for doing 4 tasks. So you can still rack up Plus Theta tokens if you're not attending an event. There have been plenty of events to attend though. So we've had the skirmish on the 31st of May. For that, I'm just going to give you the total points and not go through because I'm obviously a little bit behind. So the Enlightened got 125.3 points from that skirmish, and the Resist got 115.9. So the Enlightened won that skirmish, and there were obviously the Shard Singulars that went on there as well. The previous week, on the 24th of May, we had another skirmish, and that was 107.1 points to Enlightened in total, and 127.7 points to Resistance. So Resistance won that skirmish. There were some beacon operations in that one and the Shard Singulars too. We do still have another skirmish coming up on the 7th of June, and that will be in 13 APAC locations, 4 p.m. to 5:40 p.m. local time. Then we'll have the Shard Singular going on there in the EMEA and the AMER regions when that's happening in APAC. And then we're only a few days away of the final XM Anomaly coming up on the 14th of June. And that's in Perth, Australia, and Chemnitz in Germany. So after that's happened on the 14th of June, we'll know the overall winner of the Plus Theta Anomaly series. However, I'll get to what the current scores are firstly before those all happen. Current season score for the Plus Theta Anomaly series, as I'm recording on the 3rd of June, is 650.9 points to Enlightened versus 525.2 points to Resistance. So it's still possible for Resist to come out on top. Enlightened could again have another runaway win at Anomaly series, as we've done in the past few, but it's still all to play for the final few events that I mentioned on there. It's not clear yet what would or could change depending on which team wins this Anomaly series. We did get a little bit of lore at the start of the Plus Theta series that I'm just going to remind you of now. So it mentioned, as a dream deepens, time, memory, and experience swirl and recombine. What happened and what is true may not always be the same. A voice is growing stronger, shaping those it reaches, but this voice is sometimes contradictory. Every agent holds a string that crosses this threshold between the real and imagined, vibrating with every action. So it's not clear what will happen. We've just got a little bit of lore there. So just have to wait and see what happens after the June anomaly. Before I go into general Ingress news, obviously we've had a lot of skirmishes this season. We don't have any coming up in Plus Delta. We've got 2 global ops instead. So just a reminder that you will need to make sure you're earning your points. However, we get those through the global op, through daily tasks. Make sure you're getting those so you can still get your badge, because there'll be no skirmish to attend. So it's either doing the global ops, or attending the XM anomalies. That's all the news I've got for Plus Data. So I'm moving now to general Ingress news, as I mentioned.
Hey, this is Sim, Global Product Marketing Lead for Peridot, and you're listening to Ingress Insights.
On to general Ingress news. As it's now June, we've got the Rainbow/Pride XM on the map. So your Ingress scanner will look quite colourful at the moment. This generally lasts until the end of June. It was enabled a day or two early this time, I guess, because it was Friday and people wanted to enable it before they went home. It may hang around a little while longer. We've had the Pumpkin XM hang around for ages after last time. So I guess it depends when Niantic decides to turn it off. The other big general news item for Ingress is that the sale to Scopely has now gone through. So Scopely now own Pokemon Go, Monster Hunter Now, Wayfarer, Pikmin Bloom, and Campfire, whereas Niantic Spatial keep Ingress, Peridot, and I would think Scaniverse. The team did put up a blog post about day one for Niantic Spatial on their website. So it said, helping AI leap from screen to the real world. Today marks day one for Niantic Spatial Inc., a new company with one goal, to build the world's leading AI for understanding and interacting with the real world. The challenge, today's AI understands text, code, and images, but it doesn't understand the world we live in, the place we explore, the objects we interact with, or the context that shapes real-world decisions. Existing digital maps aren't enough. We need a new kind of map, one that allows machines, smart glassed humanoid robots to comprehend the physical world. Our mission, Niantic Spatial, was founded to solve this challenge. Our mission is to build a large geospatial model to fuse the physical and digital worlds, transforming how people and machines understand and interact with the real world to improve how we live and work. Why now? We're starting Niantic Spatial with $250 million in funding following the sale of Niantic's games business to Scopely, a transaction completed this week. We're launching with technology and products built on a smart living 3D map of the world. Our near-term goal is serving enterprise customers in specific geographic areas like warehouse and entertainment sites. Our long-term goal is to build and train a large geospatial model that will be the foundation for spatially intelligent AI that can power everything from AR glasses to autonomous systems on a global scale. The Niantic Spatial Platform. Our spatial services include Niantic Spatial's industry-leading visual positioning system, advanced 3D scanning and visualization with Gaussian splatting, and a suite of developer SDKs. Deployments and proof of concepts are already underway across logistics, real estate, manufacturing, entertainment, and federal customers. Large geospatial model built on over 30 billion pose images from millions of locations around the world. This model will enhance large language models with spatial reasoning capabilities that mean they can understand not just where things are, but also what they are and how they relate to the surrounding environment. Who we are. Our CEO John Hankey and CTO Brian McClendon are the pioneers behind Keyhole, acquired by Google and later evolving into Google Earth and Google Maps. Our team and research groups in London and Oxford hold more than 240 patents, 238 patents pending, with dozens of papers published at top computer vision conferences. We're just getting started. While LLMs are revolutionary in their own right, the majority of human life and economic activity still happens in the physical world. We have been fortunate enough through the evolution of Niantic to build a world-class R&D team to create unique geospatial models and deploy early versions of our tech at the scale of millions of users. Now we're ready for the next phase in the AI revolution, the leap from the screen to the real world. They have also published the below in Japanese. Obviously, it's going to say the same thing. Obviously, not mentioning that blog post or anything about Ingress or Peridot. So I think this is more aimed at their partners that will be doing events and things like that. With that in mind, the Niantic Recon UK channel on Telegram has published a list of events where Niantic are for the rest of the year. So I should run through those and then obviously we'll cover those in more detail. Obviously, when we get close to the time, I'm not going to cover them all in more detail right now. I didn't meant to mention that a bit. So they wrote Niantic are partners / presenting / attending a few industry events that are coming up. You can check out the details below. Some of these will be Niantic under Scopely, where some are Niantic Spatial, so check for details on the respective pages. We may not get any new information on the games or systems, but it is worth noting at previous events of unveiled items, such as Overclock or Scanner Crates. If you know of any we've missed, share them in the comments. So on the 6th and 9th of June, as you're listening to this, or shortly listening to this, it's Summer Game Fest. It's already started a few little events for that. The 10th to the 12th is AWE Augmented World Expo 2025, and then it's DSEI UK on the 9th to the 12th of September. There are two events, so there's another one on the 9th to the 11th of September, IMHX 2025. The 17th to the 18th, they're at Meta Connect. 23rd to the 25th of September, they're at the Augmented Enterprise Summit. In November, on the 17th to the 20th, Niantic are at the Defense Tech Connect Innovation Summit and Expo, which I thought was a bit interesting that they're a defense item on there. I know the Forbes article talked a little bit about that. And then also in November, on the 18th to the 21st, of the IAPA Expo 2025. Then finally in December, on the 1st to the 4th, they're at IITSec 2025. And finally, the 8th to the 10th of December, they are at United XR, which is formerly AWE Europe. There's a couple of events on that list that I'm hoping to go to myself. So when we get close to those, I can hopefully let you know more details and let you know why I'm going to. I just want to share. I thought it was quite interesting. I'll link to that thread on there, and you can look at all the events where Niantic will be, whether it's spatial or scopely. You can look at the details further on there. That's all we've got going on for general Ingress news. Going now move into Wayfarer / Recon news.
This is Shimon, former community manager for the Witcher Monster Slayer, and you're listening to Ingress Insights.
The big news item for Wayfarer / Recon is that portal nominations are now re-enabled.
Is anyone excited? Because I'm really excited.
So you can now make edits, add photos, nominate new portals the way you could before. The Ingress team shared on the 28th of May, portal nominations are now re-enabled so we can begin building our queue of submissions to review before our Niantic Spatial website goes live, soon TM. And you can now find that at nianticspatial.com/recon. So it seems like the new system is just called Recon. They show Operation Portal Recon with like the recurse bird behind it. Obviously, it works better as just one name, like Wayfarer Recon. So that makes more sense from kind of marketing perspective as well. So you can, as say, make edits, do all that kind of stuff, but you can't review anything yet because they're trying to build up that queue. It did go down for submitting portal nominations, edits, and scans, as well as overclock on the 2nd of June at about 7 p.m. my time, but it was then fixed about 15 minutes later, so it wasn't down for too long. But agents had started to panic a little bit or start to wonder whether the system was coming up for review. I guess the more nominations we get in, the quicker the system will fill up and be able to be reviewed. So if you do have anything you've been putting off for a little while or edits you want to make, I suggest getting those in whilst you can. And then they'll be reviewed on the system. You'll get an email to say they'll be reviewed by the community shortly. But obviously, we've got to have everything up and running firstly. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that and looking forward to doing some reviews again and seeing how we get OPR Live badges in the new system, because there won't be Wayfarer challenges, whether we get Recon challenges or whether it's done in a different way. Be interested to see. On the Wayfarer side of things, there was some news. So Niantic Titino welcomed some new team members. So he said, "Hello, explorers. Taking this time to introduce two of my colleagues. Please help me in welcoming Joe, aka Niantic Joe. They work on special projects here at Niantic and will be our interim point of contact for all things Wayfarer while we navigate the transition from Niantic to Scopely. Joe is excited to support our wonderful community to help keep things moving smoothly during this transition. I'd also like to introduce Niantic Kit, who's joined to support logistics for GoFest and related events. You'll be hearing more from him soon, so stay tuned for updates. Thank you for your support as we navigate this next chapter." So obviously it is Pokemon Go Fest month. I just want to make people aware of that because it may be something that comes up and you may see agents who play Pokemon Go and Ingress going off to that event or participating in it. If you're still reviewing on Wayfarer, you may see some things are less savory come up because maybe less experienced people are doing Wayfarer. There will be a Wayfarer tent at the Pokemon Go Fest if you attend, where you can get swag based on your Wayfarer medal. I don't know what'll happen if you show them your Recon medal, whether they'll honour that as well. As Wayfarer has now been sold to Scopely, once we get the new Recon system coming up, I'm not going to be covering any details from the Wayfarer forums, things like that, because obviously that will just be for Pokemon Go, Pikmin Blue, Monsanto now, whereas Recon will be for Ingress and presumably Peridot. So if there's anything you want to cover Wayfarer-wise before that happens, do let me know. I can always see if I can get it in an episode in the future. That's about all I've got in this episode for Wayfarer and everything else. So I'm going to move on now and get things wrapped up. Hey agents, for today's episode we have a sponsor that I want to talk about. I'm going to tell you about a fancy new tea I've tried called XP Brew. XP Brew is clean energy tea intended for long gaming sessions, so whether you're going out and getting your plus data bounties done or just chilling on the sofa with your Switch or PlayStation, this tea gives you a nice good energy kick without the crash of energy drinks. All you need to do is boil your kettle, put the tea powder in your favourite mug with the boiling water and give it a stir. I do want to highlight one flavour this week, which is my favourite one, which is dark choc cherry, and that you can either get by itself or in the Mano Mix pack, which gives you 2 separate packs of each flavour if you want to try them all out. What I say next about the flavour might sound really negative, but is a positive. So for me, I think it smells and tastes like hot Dr. Pepper, which is quite delicious, strangely. You can see all the ingredients for it on the website, which I'll link to in the show notes. You can see there's nothing nefarious in there. It's just clean energy stuff, vitamins, all the good stuff. So do check it out at XP Brew and see the other flavors they've got available as well, like the spicy passion one, which is quite nice too. And then let me know what you think if you do try it. I'd be interested to hear. Thanks again to XP Brew for the sponsorship. Thank you, agents, for listening to this episode of Ingress Insights. Next time we should have details from the APAC skirmishes and see what the current score is for the plus Theta Anomaly series. And then we'll be moving towards getting wrapped up on that. Maybe we'll have Recon active for reviewing. At the moment, there are some Recon guidelines, but those have just been copied over from Wayfarer, so they're all exactly the same. They do mention Wayfarer in several of them, so they've not been quite updated yet. I doubt that the criteria will be any different because it originated from Ingress. If anything, I think that Scopely might change the criteria for Pokemon Go and the other games on there. We may be due an app update. I know they said that would slow down a little bit, but we'll get some more details and see how often we get those updates. And we'll still all be enjoying the Pride XM on the scanner as well. That's all from me for this week, agents. So hope you enjoyed. Apologies for the delay, but hope you enjoyed anyway. Have a great Sunday. Sorry. Have a great Wednesday and happy hacking, agents. Thank you, agents, for listening to the latest episode of the Ingress Insights podcast. If you'd like to help the podcast out, you can do that in a few ways. So, first of all, rating the podcast on the podcast service you're listening to is always a great help, as well as leaving any comments on YouTube or Spotify if you're able to do that if you're listening on those channels. Ingress Insights also has a merch store over at tpublic.com/user/ingress-insights, where you can pick up badges and pins and t-shirts with the Ingress Insights logo on, and a few other little bits. There's also the Ko-fi store page, which has previous episodes of the podcast if you want to download those. They'll be out in batches over the next few months. You can also follow us on social media. So the main one we use is Instagram, which is under the name ingress.insights. And we also have a Blue Sky and a Threads, which you can find linked on the show notes to follow on there. If you have any feedback or episodes you'd like to see, or bonus episodes, things you want to cover, or you want to come on and chat about your experience playing Ingress, do let me know. You can contact us via email as well. And the email address is just ingressinsights@gmail.com. So you can send us anything there, voice messages, things you want me to discuss in future episodes, or anything you think I've missed and need to cover next time. Thank you again for listening, agents. Hope you have a great day and happy hacking.
Intel package transferred.